All right, biology teachers, welcome to video number 3 on our 5-part video series, walking through the different curriculum resources, things that I've created, things that we're paying for. That at the end of all of this, we should be able to create a very cool and engaging lesson. And you'll be video 5. Today, what we're going to be doing is diving deep into our curriculum resource, the main resource, which is Discovery Education. This is the one that the district pays for. I think I'm going to have a quick disclaimer here in just a second. So starting on our landing page, like we just in the previous video, I do have a link right here. I also always bookmark my links so that way I can get to it from anywhere. Now, for those that have been teaching the district for a while, you might already have some opinions about Discovery Ed. I certainly have mine. I love Discovery Ed for my 6th through 8th grade. Once we move into high school, you'll find out they don't update and keep this relevant. So actually, I think they haven't updated it since 2016 or longer than that. And so it's not necessarily the best resource that we need today. It is what we have currently. And the other thing that I'm going to be doing on the side this year is starting called an RFP process to get us a new resource. And you guys play a part in that in providing feedback and votes for what things that you guys would like. So keep your eye out for that. And for those that have been in the district for a while and you've got negative opinions of Discovery Education, I hear you, been there. So we will be starting a process that we can find something better for high school that gives us more use than what this does. But what I want to focus on today is what uses are here for us. And when we do our next video, the suggested pacing guide, hopefully what you'll see is I've pulled out a lot of the good from Discovery Ed. So you don't have to come on here and navigate and find all the stuff. I've already pulled it out for you. But I do want to kind of give a brief overview. So before we dive into the main part, which is the science textbook, there are a few tabs up here that you might find useful. The assessment builder, probably the best one. Even if you don't build an assessment on here for your students to go on here and do, this is a good spot to find questions because you can browse questions by concept or by standard, and then you can pull those out however you want. If you want to, you can build it here and assign it to students, and the students will automatically be rostered through our SIS system. And so it just goes right to them. They log in, they take it, it's auto graded. There you go. So that might be a good tool for you if you feel like doing some stuff like that. And then you don't have to create questions, but they kind of come from here. So using the assessment builder in the classroom might be a really good strategy for bringing questions into your classroom. The other stuff you might want to look around with, but I haven't found too much use of it at this exact moment. So I'll leave it there. Let's jump into the science textbook. I think I'm already loaded up on chemistry. So what I'll do is I'll just navigate myself out and get us into biology. And I'll try to move quickly. I tend to ramble, so I'll try to stay focused. Biology, and as you can see, it says new 2016. That's not new, so they haven't really come back and looked at this. That's why I want to start the process, or what can we find that's actually being updated. So this is like your big picture whole year. Here's your different units for biology, and you hit, I love unit 6. Look at all these lovely concepts. And you've got a total of 8 units. Now we only do 6, and we're kind of pulling from different parts of what they have here. So all I want to do is just kind of walk you through what they have in these and show you a few things that I pulled out that you'll be finding hopefully useful. So we'll jump into one unit, kind of narrowing it down a little bit. And it just gives you your basic concepts. So here's your concepts, gives you the standard breakdown. Here's the standards that are covered. Kind of nice. Let's jump into a concept and see what things that are offered there. The reason I didn't like Discovery Ed, and maybe this is your reason, is each of these tabs, when you go there, it's kind of the same. Here's text, maybe video, maybe an image, and it's just, and then questions. And sometimes the questions came out of nowhere, didn't feel like they fit. And so, as you can see, documents where students have to scroll and scroll and scroll, they just kind of lose interest. And so I always found it difficult to try to assign something on Discovery Ed because students were not engaging with it very well. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of Discovery Ed, but here's where I pulled a lot of things from. Over a model lesson, which students don't have access to, you have different areas. So if I go to lesson overview, this is where I hold the objectives from that you'll see in the pacing guide. If you go to teacher preparation, if you remember the content background that I showed on the curriculum landing page, here's where the misconceptions and connecting the students' lives, prior knowledge. So I got it from here, but I put it in a document over on the curriculum map. So you don't have to come into Discovery Ed, navigate to the right unit, find the tab, come over here. That's a long process. So I pulled it out so it's more useful in our planning. And then a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about in the next video for our pacing guide, I've come here to the different assignments and resources. And while most of these are videos and images, they also have interactive labs and different PDF activities. So hands-on labs, virtual labs, and hand-on activities. So I pulled a lot of these things out for you guys to use in the classroom, and you don't have to be dependent on Discovery Ed to have access to those. So here's all their labs down here, kind of pull those out. They do have a few English language proficiency activities. I have those polled. I'll let you be the judge of are those useful or not. So keep that in mind as well. So I did all that work for you. In the next video, I'll show you in the pacing guide where all that plays out and where all that information is at. But yeah, so that's kind of how Discovery Ed is set up. You might find usefulness in the evaluate. So here's like a study guide. Here's the things that you've learned. I even pulled that out for you guys. I'll show you that in the next video. You do have a practice assessment. You might find that useful. And if you actually go to assessment, you should be able to make your own concept assessment. And that's where you kind of, similar to what I showed you on that first page, I think it might be the same. You can build your own assessments since you're not probably going to be going through Discovery Ed all on its own. I imagine a lot of you guys have other resources like Gizmos and FET, CK12, OpenSciEd that you guys like to pull information from. My goal this year, while we process and find a new resource, is that we use the most that we can out of this because we are paying for it. And then hopefully when we transition, we can kind of steal some of the best as we move over. So that is pretty much all that I want to do with Discovery Ed. I know a lot of people, if you've been in the district, you already have your opinions about Discovery Ed. So I've simplified and you don't need to go to Discovery Ed. In the next video, I'll show you where all that stuff comes out easily accessible in the curriculum map. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys in that next video.